All right. As I was lost, scared, and wandering through the slums of Cambodia with black smoke and red glow from trash fires surrounding me, I had a realization. I was way beyond the bubble of Lake Travis, Texas, where I grew up. That night, a girl from my missions team and I were heading back from a coffee shop to our base. So we hopped on the back of this tiny little scooter, the two of us with our driver, and it was soon evident that he seemed to be ignoring my instructions, and he kept driving us deeper and deeper into the slums. And I was trying to convince myself that it was a language barrier that was causing the confusion. But I mean, it's kind of hard not to understand when I'm pointing right at a street that we need to take and he's just ignoring it. So yeah, I kept telling him to turn around and stop, and he just kept talking to me in Khmer and not listening. And eventually he got to the edge of the city and was going to keep driving into the countryside with both of us on his back of his scooter. So that was the last straw. I had to start yelling and like slapping him on the shoulder to demanding him to stop, and he finally screeched to a halt, got us off, and just yelled at us, which I'm sure wasn't nice things that he was saying, but he took off, leaving us with no communication and no idea where we were. So we started just walking, and it was a creepy walk. The only lights were coming from the trash fires on the corners, and everybody in the streets was staring us down, and it was about an hour walk before we recognized the street, and we finally got back to our base, luckily. But yeah, it was a nerve-wracking experience. And this all happened last year when I was part of YWAM, which is a missions organization. And my team of 12 and I got sent to Cambodia for 3 months, just to help in any way we could and help out the churches there and stuff. Cambodia had recently gone through a genocide and a civil war about 40 years ago, the Khmer Rouge. So that was still really affecting their culture. And they really struggled with poverty in the cities and the inner cities and around that. So two of our main ideas that we were going there to do was help with the churches and the families that were affected by the war, and English teaching. And the idea behind English teaching was because of the tourism industry, which was exploding in Cambodia. So kids with a background in a second language had a way better chance of getting a job in tourism than kids who didn't. And so yeah, my entire time in Cambodia changed me in so many ways, but the most dramatic was definitely my value for comfort was traded with a desire for personal growth and challenging myself. So my entire time with YWAM was full of firsts for me, and that brought me out of my comfort zone and even caused me to fear for my safety at sometimes. But just like everything that gets you out of your comfort zone, it's hard to see the positives that come out of it. Like it was right out of high school, so it was my first time being away from my family for so long, and my first time being away from home for so long. It was also my first time being immersed in a culture for a long period of time without doing all the touristy stuff, kind of just actually getting into the raw culture, which was a shock for me because that's what I used to do with my family, is just stay for a short amount of time and do the touristy stuff. And then yeah, so Cambodia and more specifically Poi Phet, the city I was in no sense of the word a safe place. Due to the war, there was a lot of landmines in the country. It's actually the worst country in the world for unexploded landmines. And so we lived a 2-minute walk from active minefields, and we saw people with missing limbs. We were always told to stay on every street, never leave a marked path, which was a little weird to be around all that. And also kidnappings. Cambodia is a huge hub for kidnappings, either leading to human trafficking or ransom demands. And I mean, who knows what was actually happening to us on that motorcycle, but kidnapping did cross my mind, which was, I never told my parents about that, so hopefully they don't see this. And like I've said about the English teaching, that actually ended up being one of the most challenging parts of the whole stay for me. By the end of the trip, I taught close to 200 hours of English, mainly at our school. We had a little English school at our YWAM base there, where I had a class of 9 or 10 kids, and I taught them every weekday for the whole 3 months I was there. And then I would also get sent out to public schools in the city throughout the week to help their English teachers with pronunciation and just anything else I could help them with. And as you can imagine, English teaching was really intimidating at first, coming right out of high school, never having experience with something like that. Just picture public speaking for a couple hours a day with a severe language barrier. And on top of that, it was a lot of pressure because these kids are coming to the English school to hopefully get out of poverty. And so it's like I'm expected to actually help them, which was really, it was tough to deal with. But even after the initial fear and uncomfortableness of teaching wore off, there was still a lot of challenges. It's extremely hard to control your classroom. And let's just say my kids have a lot of energy and really don't like to listen. And they also love making fun of their teachers in their own language, kind of whispering to each other. But all of that inability to control the classroom brought out a side of me that I didn't think I had, which was yelling at kids. But it was, yeah, don't think I'm a horrible person. They needed it. Teachers that lived there even told me that I should start slapping them with rulers, which it never came to that, luckily. But it was definitely a different experience, having to get stern with these kids and to make them do what they needed to do. And yeah, so it was only after YWAM that I realized all the good that came from the situations I was being put in. Most of the situations that I complained about at the time actually served to broaden my horizons and teach me a lot about myself. Like being away from home and my family for so long taught me, just really grew my independence and self-reliance, and being immersed in a culture in that way really taught me how amazing and enriching it is to actually dive deeper and get past the surface level of a country and a culture. And like I said, the biggest thing that was uncomfortable was the English teaching. But now looking back, it was my favorite part. By the end of it, I had amazing relationships with my kids and still keep in touch with them today. And it was really amazing to be able to see the progress throughout the whole time because I was with them for so long and be a part of that and like see things click with them. It was awesome. Yeah, all things considered, I may never be comfortable getting lost in a slum in a foreign country at night, but I can confidently say that those 3 months really taught me to appreciate challenges, seek personal growth, and biggest of all is to become less reliant on living comfortably, which is my biggest takeaway, I think. And as a wise person said, comfort zone is a beautiful place, but nothing ever grows there. Thank you.